WNBA free agency is officially underway, Annie. So when you see these names and the options that the Sky have, what do you think that they're cooking up?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because Angel and Camilla are very interesting pieces. And when you're talking about...
Today, we're zooming in on a topic that's got fans buzzing and analysts scratching their heads. WNBA free agency is officially underway, and all eyes are on the Chicago Sky. Specifically, we're talking about their young stars, Angel Reese and Camilla Cardoso. And the big question on everyone's mind, what are the Sky cooking up? Are they on the verge of building a championship contender, or are they stuck in a rebuild that's going nowhere fast? Let's unpack this layer by layer and explore why Chicago's free agency saga is one of the most intriguing stories in the league right now. The promise of youth. Reese and Cardoso as cornerstones. When you look at the Chicago Sky's roster, two names immediately jump out: Angel Reese and Camilla Cardoso. These rookies burst onto the scene last season, bringing a spark to a franchise that desperately needed it. Reese, with her relentless energy and rebounding prowess, became a fan favorite almost overnight. Cardoso, a towering presence in the paint, showed flashes of dominance that had scouts whispering about her potential as a future all-star. Together, they gave Chicago something it hadn't had in years: relevance. On our YouTube channel, we've been tracking their journey closely, and it's clear these two are special. Reese, in particular, has a charisma that transcends the court. She's not just a player, she's a brand, a cultural force who's unafraid to speak her mind and dream big. Early in the offseason, she took to her podcast to lay out her vision, turning Chicago into a WNBA powerhouse. "I'm getting more yeses than nos," she said with a confidence that's become her trademark.
You know, getting the right players in here, there is intrigue when you have young core pieces like that, because you could be part of developing them and developing towards a...
I know big things are coming for this city. That kind of optimism is infectious, and for a moment, it felt like the Sky might just pull it off. After all, Chicago is no small market. It's the third largest media market in the US, trailing only New York and Los Angeles. It's a city with a rich basketball history, a passionate fan base, and a reputation for embracing its stars. Reese herself has raved about the city's vibe, comparing it to her hometown of Baltimore. "Chicago's got everything," she said in an interview. "The food, the culture, the energy, it's all here. I don't need to go anywhere else." But here's the rub. Building a championship team takes more than vibes and potential. It takes star power, savvy management, and a clear plan. And right now, the Chicago Sky are struggling to check those boxes. While Reese and Cardoso are exciting pieces, the reality is that the Sky are still miles away from contending for a title. Free agency was supposed to be their chance to close that gap, to bring in the kind of talent that could elevate them from scrappy underdogs to legitimate threats. So what's gone wrong? The free agency fizzle, Chicago's quiet offseason. As WNBA free agency kicked off, the league was abuzz with blockbuster moves.
I was obsessed with you.
I know. I love it
all
here.
the time.
I feel like Baltimore here. I love it here.
It is. Kind of. A little bit. A little DMV action. But you know, Chicago is a number 3 market.
Teams like the Indiana Fever, Las Vegas Aces, and Atlanta Dream were making headlines, signing all-stars and reshaping their rosters for deep playoff runs. Meanwhile, Chicago, crickets. No major signings, no splashy trades, just a whole lot of silence. For a team with Reese's ambition and Chicago's market size, that's not just disappointing, it's alarming. Let's rewind for a second. Last season, the Sky leaned heavily on their young core, with Reese and Cardoso anchoring the front court. They had moments of brilliance, no doubt. Reese's double-doubles were a regular occurrence, and Cardoso's ability to alter shots in the paint gave Chicago a defensive identity. But the team's overall performance was lackluster. They finished with a losing record, missing the playoffs and raising questions about their direction. The departure of key veterans like Kalia Copper in a preseason trade didn't help, leaving the Sky short on experience and firepower. Enter free agency, the perfect opportunity to address those gaps. Fans were hopeful, maybe even expectant, that the Sky would land a big name. Alyssa Thomas, Natasha Cloud, Brittany Griner. These were the kinds of players who could transform Chicago's fortunes. Imagine Thomas, the triple-double queen, running the point alongside Reese's rebounding and Cardoso's rim protection. Or Griner, a proven champion, adding a veteran presence to the front court. The possibilities were tantalizing. But as the days turned into weeks, those possibilities faded.
in the country.
Really?
It's New York, LA, and then Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, y'all have everything. I'm not gonna lie, y'all have everything here. Like, it's nothing here that I'm like, oh, I gotta go to a different city for. Like, everything is here.
Thomas stayed with Connecticut. Griner joined Atlanta to team up with Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard. Cloud and Beck Allen headed to Connecticut in a multi-team deal. Even players like Gabby Williams, who seemed like a realistic target, politely declined Chicago's overtures. The Sky's pitch, come play in a big market with 2 rising stars, fell flat. Top free agents weren't just saying no, they were barely returning Chicago's calls. The Kennedy-Carter conundrum, to make matters worse, the Sky lost one of their own key players. Kennedy Carter, their best shooter and a dynamic offensive spark.
You know, for the Chicago Sky, who are a team that obviously, look, they're rebuilding. This is a team that is 100% rebuilding. The problem is they don't own their pick. So
Carter's exit wasn't just a personnel loss, it was a blow to Reese's vision. She'd spoken publicly about wanting to build around players like Carter, whose scoring ability complemented her own rebounding and hustle. Losing her felt like a step backward, especially Stuart Little. And for a team already struggling to attract free agents, it raised a troubling question. Is Chicago becoming a place players want to leave? The Reese factor. Leadership or liability? At the center of this storm is Angel Reese, a player whose larger-than-life personality has made her both a lightning rod and a beacon of hope. On the court, she's a force, relentless, physical, and unafraid to mix it up. Off the court, she's a social media juggernaut with millions of followers and a knack for grabbing headlines. But as the Sky's free agency woes mount, some are starting to wonder if Reese's leadership style is part of the problem. Reese's confidence is undeniable. She's never shy about hyping herself up, whether it's on her podcast or in interviews. "I'm the reason people are watching," she said at one point last season, a bold claim that raised eyebrows. Her social media posts often focus on I and me, which some analysts argue sends the wrong message to potential teammates. "You want a leader who lifts everyone up," one WNBA insider told our YouTube channel. Angel's all about Angel, and that can rub people the wrong way. There's also the issue of Reese's influence within the organization. Some reports suggest she played a role in the departure of head coach Teresa Weatherspoon, a move that stunned fans and alienated parts of the locker room.
if the Chicago Sky run it back, they're probably not making the playoffs next year. Look, I think there's going to be an improvement from Angel Reese. I think it's going to be an improvement from Cardoso. But that team with no Kennedy Carter.
Weatherspoon, a respected figure in the WNBA, was seen as a stabilizing force. Her exit, combined with Carter's departure, has fueled speculation that Reese's outsized presence is creating a toxic environment. Did Angel run a coach out of town? One analyst asked on our YouTube channel. And now a player? That's not a good look. To be fair, Reese isn't solely to blame. She's 22 years old, a rookie navigating the pressures of stardom in a major market. Her supporters argue that her confidence is exactly what Chicago needs, a bold voice to put the Sky on the map. Angel brought relevance to this team, said one fan on X. Without her, we'd be irrelevant. There's truth to that. Reese's star power has drawn attention to the Sky, even if the wins haven't followed. Her unrivaled 3-on-3 league, while not a ratings juggernaut, pulling in just 100,000 viewers, showed her willingness to innovate and take risks. Still, the numbers don't lie.
Not a good day for the Chicago Sky. Not a good day at all, because we have heard news from the journalist who reports on
Chicago's home games last season often featured empty seats, and their TV ratings lagged behind teams like the Indiana Fever, who rode Caitlin Clark's popularity to record-breaking viewership. When the Fever came to town, the Wintrust Arena was packed, not for the Sky, but for Clark. It's a stark reminder that one star, no matter how bright, can't carry a team alone. The facilities fiasco. A gym stuck in the past. If the Sky's roster and culture issues weren't enough, there's another hurdle: their outdated facilities. While teams like the Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty train in state-of-the-art complexes, the Sky are stuck in a gym that feels more like a high school setup than a professional arena. No weight room, limited recovery spaces, and a practice court that's seen better days. It's not exactly a selling point for free agents. Reese herself has spoken out about this, emphasizing the need for better conditions. "Every player deserves a safe, accessible space to grow," she said in a post on X. we need to invest in our women. She's not wrong. The WNBA is growing, with new TV deals and rising attendance, but Chicago's lack of investment in infrastructure is holding them back. Plans for a new facility are in the works, but it won't be ready until 2026 at the earliest. For now, the Sky are asking players to buy into a vision of the future while training in the past. Compare that to a team like Indiana, where the Fever have capitalized on Clark's stardom and a supportive front office to become a free agent destination. They've added veterans like Brianna Turner, ironically a former Sky player, and built a roster that's playoff ready. Meanwhile, Chicago's front office has been plagued by instability, with frequent staff turnover and questionable decisions.
The WNBA, and because she is not a homer like a lot of the other people, like normally journalists are complete homers for one team. One of the actual credible journalists reported on
failed trades like the one that sent Copper away for minimal return have left fans furious and free agents wary. The Caitlin Clark effect, a rising tide that's not lifting Chicago. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever rookie has taken the WNBA by storm, shattering records and drawing massive crowds. Her games are must-watch TV, and her impact on the league's popularity is undeniable. According to league sources, Clark's presence has driven a 30% increase in WNBA viewership and a 15% bump in attendance league-wide. She's the rising tide that's supposed to lift all boats.
Reese, did she just run a coach out of town, and is she running a player out of town? Their best shooter out of town? Because Kennedy Carter looks like she's ready to book it out of Chicago.